Isn't there a need to be aware of a trauma in the subconsciousness in order to do TRE?
Actually, no. And I'm surprised by that too, because I'm a clinical therapist. So my whole orientation initially was talk about the trauma, remember the trauma, etc. But when I started doing body work, and particularly the tremor mechanism, this is what I discovered. The tremor mechanism simply releases tightness in the structure of the human organism. So it releases fascia and muscle patterns. If, however, it starts to release tightness that I have in my hand, like a fist, because I was frightened and I wanted to punch somebody, but I wasn't able to do it. Well, my hand is still activated, but when it tremors, it may access that pattern of that holding of the fist that I could have had 10 years ago. And if there is a neural connection that is still not resolved psycho-emotionally, that will surface and it will release itself. However, many of our traumas are not conscious anymore. We may have actually gone to therapy and dealt with them psycho-emotionally, but they're still physically held inside the tissue. So what will happen, and I do this with soldiers, something will release and they'll say, oh my God, that was from that incident before, but I don't have any emotion around it anymore. I've dealt with that. And so, no, emotion does not always surface when you're resolving traumas. If an emotion surfaces, it's just revealing to you that you haven't completely dealt with the psycho-emotional element of that trauma. And it's the physical release that's helping to reconnect the psycho-emotional release. But look at it also, Jackie, like this. What happens if you're 3 years old and you lived in fear because your parents were shouting for 2 years? Nothing happened to you, but there was high stimulation of the nervous system. You lived in fear. But from 3 to 5, you might not even remember it. But when you do the tremor mechanism, you may have a sense of there's danger, but there's nothing to attach to the danger. You don't have a memory at all. You just have the physical sensation of danger. And so traumas are stored inside our structure in many different ways, psycho-emotionally and physically, but you may not have very specific memories about many of them. But that doesn't mean the body can't release them and move on towards health. It absolutely can.